Oops! You're dead! Oh, wait. Does that mean I'm dead? Get up, Bruce! Get up!
Tactical nuke incoming!
You're listening to the Pork Chop Platoon podcast, a conversation between adult gamers on a variety of topics impacting the world of gaming. Now, here are your hosts, Neon Physics and the Mudster.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, William Shatner. I mean, Mud. Sorry, that was totally a terrible William Shatner thing. I'm here with my co-host, Neon Physics.
Hey, everybody. This is Neon Physics coming to you from the underground bunker deep in the heart of Texas. Well, Mud, we had end of the last year, into this year. We've got a lot of news items to report. The first one up is kind of something interesting that we'll have to keep tabs on. Activision acquired Major League Gaming, which was the competitive gaming, one of the competitive gaming sites, in a fairly large acquisition. Now, ESPN has started an esports section on its website. So they did an intro, and they have a section now. So it looks like they're hinting at some future coverage from more mainstream sources on this whole esports thing.
Nice.
So the Awakening DLC pack came out today for PlayStation 4 for Call of Duty. It'll be out on Xbox in 30 days. Now, there was no specialists, no weapons. So that's interesting. Yeah, I thought that was kind of strange considering there's been a weapon quite frequently. So.
Right.
I don't think there would be a specialist because I'm not sure how they would balance that, but I thought there would at least be another gun. Yeah,
I agree. You know, I know with the specialist, I think there's just too much involved in, releasing a new specialist, but I agree. I think a gun would have been appropriate.
Yeah, I think it would have been neat. I mean, they're the first ones to do the DLC gun was Treyarch, but they just had that one gun, the Peacekeeper, since then, and the other titles have released numerous ones. Also in the world of Call of Duty, there is Black Ops 1, which has been announced as being backwards compatible, but still no date for when it's going to be compatible.
I hope it's soon, man.
Yeah. So we're going to eagerly await that.
Is it only going to be Black Ops 1, or are they going to drop Black Ops 2 as well?
So far, Black Ops 1 is the only one on the list. So I don't know what that means.
Oh, okay.
But that's where we are on that. Now, on the World of Battlefront, they finally got their first big patch and update, and their DLC drop information came out. They got some new maps in multiplayer, which is good because the maps they had were kind of limiting. They did some buffs and nerfs, and Boba Fett got nerfed. And I didn't play much of Battlefront, but I knew Boba Fett was overpowered. Added private matchmaking, some new character skins for Luke and Han. Kind of surprised here that Leia didn't get anything, given that she changes outfits about every 3 scenes in all the movies.
Right. Did you hear any more about the custom matches, the private matches?
I did not. I haven't tried them. I don't know anything about them, but I know they have the capability now to have private lobbies. So,
oh man,
I don't know how big you can get or not, but I think it's probably the smaller. Can't be the big game modes yet. I would imagine it's just the smaller ones, but I'll have to look into that, and we'll keep our eye on how that plays out.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. I can't wait to give it a try.
Yeah, their DLC schedule's coming out in March. They're going to have the Factories of Sullust and Jabba the Hutt's Palace. In summer, they're going to have Bespin, Cloud City, and then something on the Death Star. So
sweet.
It's going to be pretty. I don't know if they're going to do Walker Assault there, but it'll be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, but the last one is going to be in early 2017, which I found interesting given that the next Star Wars film, the anthology film Rogue One, is going to be released in December of this year. I don't know if they're extending the DLC to go with Episode 8 or if Battlefield 5 is getting in the way or what, but I thought there might be another Star Wars title next Christmas. So,
Is Rogue One going to be released in December? I thought they said in May.
No, Rogue One will be in December, and then the following December will be Episode 8.
I gotcha.
So
I heard Lord Vader's going to make an appearance in there.
He is. He's going to do some brutal stuff. So it's going to
Awesome.
be a war movie. So it's going to be pretty cool.
Awesome.
So we have confirmation of a Battlefield title, but no details yet for EA. The Division beta was this weekend. Did you get a chance to play it?
No. You know me with the betas.
You don't play the betas.
I don't do betas because I always get a bad taste in my mouth, and
yeah.
I'm looking forward to the Division. And if I was afraid that if I did the beta, then I wouldn't have liked it because of some problem that they had.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. No, I know you don't do that. I played a little of the alpha actually, and it's pretty cool. It's a cover-based shooter RPG, more of a traditional RPG than say a Destiny, with a cover-based third-person mechanic. So it should be a pretty good title. And a couple of other little news and notes. Disney is releasing a game called Tron Run. They own the Tron franchise too, as well as all the princesses and all the Marvel and all the Star Wars. They also own Tron. That's a free running game if you're not getting enough in Black Ops 3 of the wall running. That's coming out.
Dude, I'm excited for that title. I mean, I love the Tron movies, the new Tron, and I think it's a real inexpensive game, so I don't think it's overly priced. And there was an old game of Tron where you could do the little frisbee competition, and the disc. And then the one where you're on the scooter with the light scooter and everything. This will be a good title. I have a feeling, man.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It's going to be real inexpensive, so it'll be interesting. Nice. Maybe something to pick up. Maybe they'll do games with gold with it. We can all get it for free, or it'll have a free-to-play demo model.
Awesome.
And then the last story is the Video Game Hall of Fame, which started last year, so it's not been around too much, is looking for nominations for this year's class. The inaugural class included Doom, Pong, Doom, Pong, Pac-Man, Super Mario Brothers, Tetris, and World of Warcraft, which is a strange one given that that's the only modern Millennium nomination. Feels like that was a choice so that they would have someone under the age of 30 know the games.
I don't understand why they don't have Wolfenstein 3D.
Wolfenstein. I can think of... there's a lot of... Tetris I can see. Pac-Man. Doom is interesting. Curious what it will be. There's a website to nominate. It's worldvideogamehalloffame.org/nominate. And you can nominate some new games. I don't know if you've thought about any games to nominate. I suspect Call of Duty will eventually fall in there somehow as the basic game. Madden is another game that should probably be in there.
Counter-Strike
is a pretty popular. Trying to think of some others that have been around for a while. I think Super Mario Brothers covers Donkey Kong and those elements, but certainly one of the Mario Brothers offshoots could make it as well. I'm sure one of these years.
Yeah, totally. There's a lot of games. You think they'd have a much bigger list. I need to go to that site and check it out. Yeah,
well, they've got a bunch to nominate, so you think you can nominate what they have, or you can nominate your own. So it should be pretty cool.
Cool. That's awesome, man. So, well, everybody, we have a really fun show planned for everybody today. In this episode, we've got the big year in review, but before we get to all that, I want to send it back to Angel Eyes for the Pork Chop Platoon 411.
What's up, guys? Angel Eyes here, and I'm hoping you've had a great January so far in this new year of 2016. It still seems like all the games of last year are still fresh in my mind, though, so let's reflect a bit, shall we, on all the awesomeness that was 2015. The Witcher, Fallout 4, Batman Arkham Knight, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Destiny's The Taken King, Halo 5 Guardians, Star Wars Battlefront, Black Ops 3, the list goes on and on! I don't know about you guys, but it seems pretty tough to imagine topping the games of 2015. It was a great year to be a gamer for sure. I can already see some promising titles, though, creeping around the corner, so get ready, we may be spoiled yet again this year. A few things to keep your eyes on in the coming months are changes to our community's front page, as well as our 2016 LAN party coming up in August. The annual LAN event has always proven to be a blast and continues to strengthen our gaming family here at Pork Chop Platoon. I can't wait to see what's in store for this year's attendees. Thanks again for listening to the podcast, everyone. And remember, if you're new around here, swing by www.porkchopplatoon.com and enlist in the best adult gaming community around. That's it for the 411, guys. Angel out, and as always, no pig left behind.
Thanks, Angel. You know, we are truly pumped for what's coming in 2016 also. So, well, I got some, one returning guest and a new guest here to the podcast. You know, first we got the resident metalhead Rogue Ninja, and we also have, the guy who's always late, Jake the Late.
Yep, that's me.
Yeah. What's up, fellas?
Yeah, so, Rogue Ninja, why don't you tell us what you're currently playing, bud?
Unfortunately, I got hooked on The Witcher 3, and it's very much like my old Skyrim addiction, so...
Very good game. Very good game.
Yeah, it's ridiculously fun, and I can't put it down.
Is there any kind of multiplayer aspect to it?
No, but I kind of wish there was I wish they'd add like a Dark Souls sort of thing to it where you could get invaded or invade other people's worlds. But it doesn't really play like Dark Souls, so... no multiplayer, just me and Geralt traveling through Vizima.
Sweet. Well, Vizima sounds kind of like a old 80s drink, so.
90s drink. 90s drink.
There you go.
The Zima was launched on my 21st birthday.
Oh,
I wondered what the hell why I waited 21 years for that moment after taking a sip of that.
That's hilarious. What about you, Mr. Jake? What are you currently playing, bud?
Well, I play a bit of everything, really. At the moment, as we're recording this, I'm actually playing Just Cause 3.
Nice.
Because it's something that doesn't really have to take a lot of thought to do, so I can still talk. But I do own Witcher 3. I've been playing a lot of COD, Black Ops 3, when I can, and just pretty much anything that takes my fancy.
Yeah, well,
as I'm playing as a father with two kids, I'm kind of finding it good to have some single player options now instead of just all multiplayer.
And you just recently, about a month ago, had a kid, right?
Yep.
Congratulations. That's a pretty big milestone, man. Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised you're playing games at all.
Oh, that's the best thing. You're not sleeping anyway. What else are you going to do?
Right?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, my mother-in-law is actually living with us right now, so we have a built-in nanny, which kind of frees up my wife and I, so we're able to do hobbies and do schoolwork and still take care of the kids. So it's very fortunate.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, 2015, I guess we'll start with that year and before we look forward. And it was, in my mind, it was a little bit of what I call, it started out as kind of a normal year in gaming. There were some titles that came out. People were we had Battle, what was the Battlefield Hardline, Evolve came out, which was kind of a mixed reviews. But then this summer hit, and we had a lot of titles start dropping with the Batman, and then the Destiny Taken King, the Halo, the Call of Duty Black Ops 3, the Battlefront, all those betas mixed in there. So it's been quite an interesting year. So I'll just throw out the first topic. The way I have it, and Mud's got some ideas too, but my first idea is kind of, what do you guys think? What was the best of the year, the worst of the year, and maybe the biggest surprise?
Well, I know for me, I think my favorite game, I think the best game so far of, 2015 was Call of Duty Black Ops. And after having, the prior years being so disappointing with the Call of Duties, I was blown away with this one. And if you listen to the Call of Duty podcast that we did in the past, I mean, I go into depth about how much bang for the buck you get with it. And I mean, it is awesome. It has so many cool aspects to it. So that was definitely my favorite, but there has been some really fun games in 2015. You know, with the Taken King was some really good, you know, co-op and, you know, community type game. I mean, it was a lot of fun, and I mean, there's just a lot of good stuff out there this year.
Yeah, Halo 5 for me was probably my kind of. I was expecting it to be good. Campaign was, I don't know what you'd call for a campaign for Halo anymore, but multiplayer is still just balls out fun. Halo multiplayer, you know what I mean? And they've really added to their game quite a bit. So,
Absolutely.
Warzone game type, you know, all the game types you get in matchmaking, they're constantly updating it with community stuff. I mean, it's been a decent return for the money spent on it.
That's awesome. Yeah, especially with Forge, you know, Forge being out there for Halo. I mean, I'm sure people are just pumping out all sorts of neat maps and community type content. You know, I need to get back into it.
Yeah, and those kind of go into a rotation now, kind of like, I think they did that with 4 too.
Right, and 3. I remember.
Yeah. Yeah, so guys would make cool maps, you know, the developers take notice, throw it in there. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So we've been having some fun nights. I've been trying to host like 2 nights a month. And I know I believe it's Yankee's been doing some co-op nights as well. So it's been cool.
That's great.
I gotta say that my best game for 2015 was Fallout 4.
Really?
Yeah. I enjoy COD. I'll always get COD, but I can't bring myself to give my best game of the year personally to a game that does the same thing over and over, no matter how well they do it every year. You know, it's just, I like Fallout 4 because there was a lot more new to it than to Black Ops 3.
Huh. Because, you know, I looked at gameplay, and I purchased Fallout 4, but I haven't yet to play it because there's been so many other titles that I've been playing. And everything I've seen, all the videos and the gameplay that I've seen, it seems exactly the same as Fallout 3.
It's the big thing about it, I think, other than the graphical improvements, which, you know, you can talk about if you want, but it's big thing for me is the base building.
Oh, cool.
And the community management. It makes it a lot deeper than other RPGs I've seen, just full stop. It's like they wanted to take the best parts of Minecraft and put it into a Fallout game. And I think they succeeded.
Like you can build like structures and different things like that?
Yeah, you can build houses, buildings, towers. Yeah. You can also build things like guard towers and shops and things like that, and you can have income coming into your base that you can use to go out and buy like power suit frames, and it's a really deep thing. And you know, I've played probably a third, maybe not even that, of the actual story of the game. Everything else has just been running around doing this base building stuff, and it's a lot of fun.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I don't want to be intellectually dishonest if I didn't say Black Ops 3 is the game that has run away. I spent most of the time with, but I did play a lot of games this year. I think it's a game that I wish I had more time to play, and I wish it had actually been a 2016 title. Was I can't even think, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. I really enjoyed the beta. I played that probably for 2 weeks as a pre-beta and as a beta tester. And I have not had a chance to play it because it came out at Christmas time, and I was, you know, busy trying to do all my challenges and things like that with Battlefront and Black Ops 3. But I do have some candidates for sort of the worst, not the worst, but I don't want to call it the worst because I don't want to be negative, but I do have some disappointments that I want to point out. A couple of them, one that came out earlier in the year. I was a little disappointed in Battlefield Hardline in the multiplayer, but I really was disappointed in Evolve, and I was kind of disappointed in Batman. And Batman was a really cool game, but I just felt like the Batmobile was too much like, it was like Grand Theft Auto Gotham.
They overdid the Batmobile thing with it. I'll agree with that. I still thought it was a fantastic game, but the Batmobile thing was really forced, and there were times where
in the middle of a fight, oh, now you got to jump in the Batmobile and drive across town. Like, what?
Yeah, well, it wasn't so much that. It was just like some of those. Like, there's a mission later on where you gotta do the sneaking thing. You fight those, like, what are they, like scorpion tanks or something? I can't remember the name of them. And god damn, that took forever for me to get it done, just because it was impossible. And I'm thinking, man, this isn't Batman, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not sneaking around doing anything.
Yeah, it's supposed to be
here.
a stealth fighting action game, not a drive around in my car. Yeah, I couldn't even listen to music. I mean, where was the music? Can we have a radio station?
Yeah, really. I would agree with that. But I still loved the title. I mean, I go back for the combo system and the, even some of like the stealth maps and all that. I love that whole thing of it. So I thought it was a great game. Batmobile aside, so I don't know that I'd call it a disappointment, but to each his own.
I was a little disappointed they took out Dinklebot from Destiny. I mean, the guy they replaced him with was, by far worse than Dinklebot. That sucked.
Dinklebot, that's what you guys called him.
Well,
it's Peter Dinklage.
Right. Yeah. No, I get it. I don't play Destiny, so I didn't know that you guys are calling him Dinklebot. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
They took him out. He's gone.
Yeah. And they replaced, like everything else, they replaced him with this other guy who, man, he just seems so weak,
So annoying.
He really is,
Isn't it, what's the guy's name? Isn't it North something? Isn't he the dude that does like every voice in every video game now?
Yeah, I
it's
think
pretty
so.
generic.
Did like Nathan Drake, and I don't know. The guy does like every single main character voice now.
Well, there's a lot of different actors out there who they could have had do it. They could have had Denzel Washington. They could have had, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
One of us is in deep trouble.
Stop. Just stop. You're not. Every time
I gotta disagree with you on that, man.
Obligatory. He always says Schwarzenegger should be the voice in your head in Destiny.
Absolutely.
We've awoken the hive.
Right?
Get to the dropship.
Yep.
Fight back, Guardian.
But I hope you leave enough room for my fist, because I'm going to ram it into your stomach.
Well, what about you, Jake? Any disappointments or any kind of...
Battlefield Hardline was a big disappointment to me. I just, I ranked up guns. I unlocked guns. I didn't like how you had to go through all of this crap in order to unlock faction guns for the other side. I didn't like the overall lack of guns. It was the same complaint I had to a lesser extent, but the same complaint I had for Titanfall a couple of years ago was just the lack of content.
Yeah, I like the gameplay of Hardline. The Hardline gameplay was stellar. It was based off the Battlefield 4 model and played nice and smooth. And it was, driving around in a car, that's your point that you're doing. And with what was that song? I'm gonna call it out. No, that's not. That was from Call of Duty. Oh man,
you're not even.
No. Oh yeah, it goes whoop whoop. That's the sound of the police.
Oh,
my God.
Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the beast.
Yeah. That was, I thought it was fun, man. Jake, you remember that, game type that was like 6-on-6, small maps? That was.
Yeah, I do. It was like a heist or something like that, where the robbers had to get to an extraction point.
Yeah,
right.
It really felt a lot like COD to me. Like they were trying to be a ripoff. Like they were trying to appeal to COD with a Battlefield interface, and I just didn't care for it.
Yeah, my biggest issue was when people were starting to try to get all the challenges for all the secret guns to unlock. It was so difficult to do normally that people were like, joining servers and having it be like a challenge only server. The only thing you would do is drive around in a car mode in order to unlock part of a challenge. The only thing you do is do this, and it's a sign of bad game design when people have to game your system in order to unlock something you put in there from the beginning.
And there were aspects that I liked about it that, like when you were playing the Hardline, and they had certain power weapons on the map. You know, like the Stinger, you'd have to find it in the map. You'd have to run to a building, and the Stinger's on, you know, right there, or the RPG. And in Battlefield 4, if you're in a helicopter, I mean, everybody's got Stingers and they're shooting you down, but that's kind of like how Halo 3 used to be. I mean, you'd fight over those power weapons, you know, and I like that aspect. That was fun.
Still do in Halo 5, man, and Slayer matches.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something I actually like that, not only for the mechanical aspect, but for the thematic aspect, because it's like, what would the SWAT team or a group of crooks be doing with, like, you know, 10 people running around with Stinger missile launchers on their back? It doesn't make sense.
Right.
And so I liked it. I did think that helicopters could be a bit overpowering if you did it that way. I know you could damage helicopters more easily with your own guns rather than having to rely on heavy arms fire, but it was still something I thought that probably could have been tweaked a little bit, like maybe up the count of Stinger missile drops in a map. Because there were times, especially what you remember, there were times we'd spend the entire match, like a 20, 25-minute big capture match just in a helicopter because nobody could shoot us down and nobody was thinking to go for a Stinger, and that was just it. It was done.
Well, I remember you being my gunner and you going like 40 kills, you know, no deaths, and you know I was just had all those assists and everything and just flying around. That was so much fun, dude.
I mean, and it's fun, but it's also a sign of less than stellar game design because you could do that in Battlefield 4, but it was tough.
Yeah.
When everybody on the other team could, like, you know, with a couple of button presses, switch over to an anti-air class with their engineers and just shoot you out of the sky. It was tough to do.
Right.
It took skill rather than just, you know, jumping into a chopper and thinking, okay, nobody's going to go for a Stinger on this map. So, you know, we got it. We can do it.
Yeah. I still had a lot of fun.
I had a lot of fun too, but it was a disappointment to me as a game, you know, trying to appeal to a lot of people, trying to get a lot of stuff done for itself.
Yeah, there were some things that I thought would have been really fun, like tournaments and like custom type things that we never really were able to get into.
Like what?
Oh, you know, that one where you escorted the guy, you know, everybody else had like machine guns and you had to escort the VIP, you know, through the map and take him over to the place. And, you know, the guy had like just a Desert Eagle pistol. I mean, that was fun. Or, you know, we had another version where it was almost like search and destroy, but it was something to do with hostage. You have to rescue the hostages, but then we're like, hey, everybody, let's just like run around with nightclubs and baseball bats. And we were having like this time where we're just like punching each other and hitting each other with baseball bats and nightsticks. It was fun, man. I mean, there was a lot of potential there, I thought.
Well, you guys have any surprises? Anything that good or bad, one way or another?
You know, when I was playing Battlefront and I first got that time where I could be Darth Vader, you know, that was a pretty big surprise. That was pretty awesome for me. That was a epic moment, you know, for me. And, you know, I just want to throw one more disappointment in 2015 was with Battlefront not having a campaign. I mean, it was a stellar, neat-looking game, and it was really cool with the special effects and the music and everything, but it really lacked a campaign, man.
Yeah, you put the Dinklebot first, and then now you talk about the lack of a campaign. That's great, man. You put Dinklebot, man.
I love Dinklebot. He was funny.
No, but any other surprises, disappointments, anything else? Because one of my surprise was how actually it was going to be a negative was how disappointing how Battlefront just was so shallow. Battlefront was just so shallow. It was great for an hour, and then it got really boring really quick. Very disappointing. But that was a surprise because it's the beta.
I foresaw that coming. That's why I didn't buy the game.
Yeah,
even with the
here.
beta, you didn't play the beta?
Even with the beta was one of the reasons why I saw it being so shallow.
Yeah, I got bored with the beta pretty much immediately. I thought there's nothing here, but it's Battlefield with Star Wars skin.
Which is
multiplayer
awesome.
almost.
It's not that was one of my problems, was that it was. I understand that Disney, who now owns Star Wars and has control over it, wanted to have it appeal to the largest amount of people, including kids, and wanted it very easy to pick up and play. And that was one of my problems with that. It was a little too casual of a game.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Not that it was obviously didn't have all the mechanics and everything that it took to be good at Battlefield, but
it was too casual. There wasn't any weapon depth. There was not much weapon depth.
I felt like it was just a cash grab game. They knew it would sell 9 million copies, and it did. But everyone that I know that got it literally said the same thing. Like, dude, I played it for 2 hours, and I'm kind of just over it.
Yeah, my brother bought it, and he hated it. And he is like a huge Star Wars fan. He's like, I can't like this game. He's like, I'll give it to you if you can give me a copy of Halo 5. And I was like, you think I want to trade a copy of Halo 5 for Battlefront?
That's crazy. There's a lot of people in our community that love Battlefront. And I like Battlefront. I like the concept behind it and the music and the graphics and everything. I mean, it's the best Battlefront game I've ever played. But it did lack content. It lacked, a campaign. It lacked, but I mean, it was pretty neat to be able to get that hero power up and become Luke Skywalker or Boba Fett. I mean, that was pretty sweet. But again, I didn't play it more.
Yeah, you just don't play it for 2 hours. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
my Twitter.
I think one of the reasons why I was so as disappointed as I was because I remember the Battlefront and Battlefront 2 for the original Xbox and PlayStation 2. I remember those games, and those games were great. And they were pretty much, they were even more so clones of Battlefield than this game was. And they weren't even made by DICE. But just everything about them was fun. The class balance was there, and in 2, you could actually get Jedi power-ups and work almost the exact same way as in this game. Almost the exact same way.
Yeah,
they were just better games, I think.
Yeah, no, my Twitter, I had the same Twitter review. I've done it. It's 140 characters. It's for Star Wars fan and filthy casuals, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's who it is. That's who plays it.
I think a lot of people
great.
who like it didn't play the first 2 personally. Because I would not be surprised if a lot of people who don't like the game, that's one of the reasons why, is that they just were expecting more of those games. And I knew it wasn't going to be that game as soon as I learned about the card system in it. Which I found interesting, actually. I liked the idea of having different cards that had different power-ups and power weapons on a cooldown. I thought that was an interesting way to balance it out so nobody could just, sit back and constantly pot shot with a sniper rifle. Of course, if you could, at least in the beta you could. But it was a good idea, I think. But it wasn't like those original 2 games.
So what else you got, Mud, on for 2015?
Well, I mean, things that we can think about are like, who the best villains we thought were, who the best characters we thought were, what was the best co-op? Was Halo 5 co-op better than Destiny co-op? I mean, there's a lot of things we could talk about. I mean,
I would say the best villain, and I saw this, I got a sneak preview, the other guys didn't see this probably. I think the best villain was probably the Joker from Batman. Even though he wasn't the main villain, and you guys who played Batman, you tell me whether I'm off base on this. I know that the Scarecrow was the main villain, but I thought that Joker was great. I don't want to spoil. It's not really spoiling it. The Joker's dead. He died in one of the previous games, but he comes back. And Mark Hamill.
I was sitting here talking, and I had the mute button on.
Yeah, Mark Hamill is the Joker. It's a bigger part for him than in Star Wars.
his presence in that game was nothing short of amazing. Like the Joker in the newest Batman was, oh my God, it was so villainous, man. It was just, and he taunted you the entire game, like just.
Oh, and how about the first scene where you were burning, you're cremating the Joker?
Yeah.
That was incredible to see.
Did you know if you play it a second time on like New Game Plus, that intro is different?
Mm-mm.
No, I didn't know that. No, I thought it was good though. Even though he's not the main villain, just his constant harassing and just like, there's a few creepy moments too. It's really good.
Oh man, there's some really creepy moments in there, and really, I 100%ed the game, so I got the best or the full ending or whatever. But I think the part that he's in is actually still in the ending regardless. But man, he added so much to that, and it was simple little things too, like. He'd always catch you off guard, like you grapple up top to a building, and he's just sitting there, just talking smack to you, like, hey, bats, it's just crazy, man. I loved him as a villain in that game. It was great.
Yeah,
I would love to learn what kind of predictive metrics they use to say what's the building top that people are most likely to go on to meet the Joker, because I had friends who played the game, and I'll talk about this Joker meeting, and they're like, I never met that. What building was that on? So it wasn't like a random.
Oh wow, I didn't realize that.
It
was a completely random generated. Oh, I'm going to have a Joker interaction.
Yeah, no, and he'd pop out of nowhere too.
Yeah.
Like there was a couple times, like I said, I'd grapple up to the top of the building, and boom, he was like right there, just sitting there, like he'd been chilling, waiting for me to just say something snarky. It's like. Man, the way they implemented him into that was just brilliant. I thought I loved the Joker as a villain.
I agree completely.
That's awesome. Well, Jake, what about Oryx in Destiny? I mean, for all the Destiny players, when you first meet Oryx,
it was incredible when you first met Oryx because of his scale.
Yeah,
he was bigger than his son, obviously. Probably bigger, the biggest thing you've ever fought in Destiny.
Yeah,
he's on the scale of some enemies you'd face in like God of War or in Dark Souls. That's how big he is.
Yeah, it was pretty. That was a pretty epic moment. When you run up and Oryx comes out. And he's just takes up the whole screen. He's just enormous. That was a pretty epic villain too.
I remember the first person to meet Oryx. I think it was Holtzman's team on Twitch, and he ran up to the little spark of light, and he's like, come on, bring it, let's do it. Then just Oryx's face fills the screen, and he you watched him on his little video feed. He jumped back out of his seat.
That's funny.
He was that surprised by it, and you don't get that. That's not something you usually create, especially in a multiplayer game like that.
Yeah. Yeah, the epic size of him. Yeah, that was pretty intense, man. That was
his
awesome.
Tiny little feet.
Yeah. I don't think anybody ever looked down at his feet except for us. That was funny.
What about other characters? Any other characters from games that stood out?
I know in Destiny, after they remastered and the Taken King came out, they gave a personality to. Oh man, what was his name? The hunter.
Oh, Cade 6.
Cade 6, man. That guy turned into one of the funniest characters I've ever seen.
Nathan Fillion.
Who?
It's Nathan Fillion who plays him.
Nice. Not sure who that is, but that's awesome.
He played Captain Malcolm Reynolds in Firefly.
Oh, nice.
He's one of the ODST troopers in the Halo franchise.
I know exactly who you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy. He was actually playing, I think, Halo 4 with one of his cast members from Firefly at a release. And apparently Justin Bieber and his crew walked into the store in New York, and someone came and told him he had to leave the console because Justin Bieber wanted to set up a VIP section for himself, and he just said no and went back to playing his game.
That's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Don't show the Biebs any love.
Exactly. And I actually had the privilege of meeting him and some of his other cast members from Firefly at conventions, and he's one of the coolest guys. I want to a star that really appreciates his fan base.
He the same one that's in. He's in Halo 5 too, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. Okay. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I think now he plays a Spartan. I haven't played Halo 5 yet. It's the Halo series is something I was originally into on the original Xbox, and then I just been picking them up as they've been going on sale ever since. I don't know why. I just not a first day buy for me now.
Yeah, I pre-ordered. Like I went against everything that I said I wouldn't do and pre-ordered it. I did the same thing with the Master Chief Collection, but he's so he was pretty much a Spartan in ODST, right? Like same difference.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah. So he's back on Locke's team this time around, but I mean that's not a spoiler or anything, but he plays it pretty well in 5 too.
Did you guys ever try that new Tomb Raider, the Tomb Raider that came out this year?
Yep, I own it. It's a good game.
Is it? Yeah.
It's very solid.
The reviews are really solid. I'd like to. That'll be one of those when I see it for 15 or under. I'll snatch it.
It's just I don't know who at Square Enix decided to release it on the same day as Fallout 4, but I'm sure they've been fired. Because it has had really bad sales on the Xbox One.
I think it was because of the exclusivity. They had to get it out before the PlayStation, which releases next year. They wanted as much running room as possible, maybe, or as Christmas.
I understand that, but they could have released it like in January or something, or February.
Well, that's the same thing with...
They didn't have to release it.
No, I have that issue with Rainbow Six. We were with Rainbow Six. We were within the focus group. I got picked for the focus group for Rainbow Six, and there was 100 of us, and there's like 75 people saying, "Please do not release this game before Christmas. Please release this game in the spring. It's a good game. It's a deep game. You need to give it some room. You can't. It will get crushed by Halo and Call of Duty and Destiny and Battlefield. It will be crushed, and it has been." It's already on sale for $30 because that's what's happened. What about Evolve? Did you guys try that one? I tried it and thought it was just terrible.
I played the beta and I liked it. I was gonna get the full game, but then I heard about all the crap happening with the microtransactions and all this, like all the money they were charging to unlock things that a lot of people said should have been in the game, in the full game.
The concept behind it where you can be the monster. I mean, that's pretty cool. I thought it was a really neat concept, but yeah, I don't think it got traction with, I picked it up on sale real cheap and, I haven't played it because there's so many other games, that are really good.
Yeah. I played the beta and kind of was about it, and then same deal. Once I heard it was all microtransactions and kind of almost seemed pay to win, I checked out. I didn't really give it a second glance. I mean, if they ever give it away for free, during a Games for Gold sort of thing, I mean, I'd pick it back up and give it another look. But
it's a prime contender for it because it's a AAA title that is just did terribly. So that's something that they'd probably be willing to do with the Games for Gold thing.
Well, actually, I was going to say this kind of transitions into the sort of the transition topic. Is one of the things that I think defined this year in gaming. It may have been the cluster of games there in September and in October and November of really good titles at the end of the year. But I think actually what defined this year was the two things that we've talked about on this podcast before is the migration of free to play from the PC over to console and the integration of these new titles popping up, and Evolve, as you say, is a prime candidate to fall in line with Neverwinter and Smite and what is that space game I'm thinking of?
Elite
Dangerous, yeah. To make that move over to that, and then also the year of the betas, where we got real AAA betas. You started with Evolve. Well, really, it started with Titanfall first, and then we got a Hardline beta, and then I think did we get a Destiny beta the year before?
Yeah,
those, but then so many this year Maybe it wasn't so many. Maybe it was just significant when there was a couple of Rainbow Six betas. There was the Black Ops 3 beta. There was the Evolve did a beta. That there are betas set up now for all these new games coming out. That those are the two things from this year that I took away that really kind of brought the year as a distinct year from the previous years. I don't know if that's a trend or if it was just a one-shot deal.
Yeah, I think they're kind of doing betas now in place of demos. It used to be demos and things like that. I mean, everything now has got a multiplayer component, so I think it's kind of win-win for them. They get to test their servers, take feedback about, Battlefront was a good example of that. Like, so much of that got changed balance-wise because so many people complained about the beta. I can't remember the game type, but it was, when the AT-ATs versus, the Rebels or whatever.
Walker Assault.
Oh, Walker.
Yeah. They said the win percentage for the one side was like 90% or something, and so people were like freaking out about it. So I mean, they get to tweak their game and make it more user friendly, and I get that. And then they kind of get to whet your appetite with here's a demo. You get X amount of time with it. So I think we'll see a lot more of that, and I don't see that going away anytime soon.
Yeah, it falls in line with that free-to-play model, those new games coming out, the console free-to-play, World of Tanks moved over. It was a PC game, and it's moved over to the to the Xbox. And so thinking about that, what do you guys see for next year? One of the things that I guess I wanted to segment out is I wanted to first talk about the main titles. And I don't know if you guys have heard anything. I have not heard yet. I know there's going to be a Battlefield. We know there's going to be a Call of Duty. Do we know if there's going to be a Destiny 2, or are they going to continue with DLC for this year?
I think they've talked about a Destiny 2. I hope it's not just DLC because, I mean, it was such a good game for so long, but it's lost a lot of interest for a lot of people. So,
one of the reasons it's lost a lot of interest, though, is because at this point in the first year of Destiny's life, we had more DLC.
Yeah.
And we just don't have that. We have Taken King, and then they did that Eververse trading, and this is going to support all future downloadable content for this game. And we're like, okay, that's cool. And so far we've gotten Sparrow Racing, and that's it.
And the Sparrow Racing was really cool and really fun, but it didn't last long enough. And, that should be a permanent addition to the game where people can go in and have custom games of Sparrow Racing, but it's like Iron Banner. It comes and goes,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, these things don't stay? I thought that they really are just introduced. Oh, wow.
No, the Sparrow Racing, it was a testing. It was there for a week.
Yeah. And it was fun, man. It was really cool. It was a really cool addition to the game. But
I get all the news alerts, and I for the opening segment, and I scoured, and I have waited until and now, unless they're tweeting out Destiny 2 on Twitter at this exact moment, which maybe I should log on and check, I have not heard anything to confirm it. I know there's a Battlefield 5, or some name. We know there's
a Battlefield coming out. There's going to be another Assassin's Creed coming out. Titanfall 2 is coming out this fiscal year.
Yeah, I thought I saw that too.
I don't know that they've confirmed that. I thought that they have not confirmed the release yet.
EA confirmed Titanfall 2 is coming out either
this year or the spring.
4.
Are you sure it's not that? Okay.
Yeah.
I could not get a confirmation.
For the fiscal year is January, February, March of the calendar.
Yeah. That's when I thought it was. I had in my notes that it was going to come out first quarter of 2017. Same time it did the year before, 2 years ago.
Yeah, and they've also confirmed that
campaign.
A game that I'm looking forward to is oh my god, I just forgot the name.
The Division?
Of it. No, not The Division. It's a BioWare game. I'm just blanking on the name.
Mass Effect?
What I'm doing. Mass Effect, thank you. Mass Effect Andromeda is confirmed for quarter 3 or quarter 4.
Yeah. Well, what about
2016?
Real quickly on what have you guys heard about Battlefield? Have you heard anything other than just it's a title to be determined? Because I don't have much on that.
I heard DICE is making it.
Yeah, I heard that there's going to. I read on our forums that it's confirmed that they're going to have another Battlefield coming out. But
Yeah.
They gotta.
I mean,
they're going to have
Hardline
to.
did so much harm to that brand name, which is really sad because it didn't deserve as much flack as it got, but it deserved a lot of it. That's my feeling on Hardline.
Well, speaking of that, what about Call of Duty? We think it's going to be Ghost 2, or do you think it's going to be something else?
God, I hope not.
God, I hope
Ghost was the worst one.
No, Advanced Warfare was the worst one. I'll have you know.
I wouldn't mind a Ghost 2 just in that it mean boots on the ground.
Yeah, I actually
I would like it.
Ghost was good when you got into the DLC maps. It's just the original maps were so terrible, and there was no UAV. Oh my God, there's no UAV. I mean, how do you not have a UAV in that game?
I hated everything seemed like it was just brown and muted, and I couldn't see anybody unless I had motion tracker sight on. Like it just, I don't know, something about the landscape of that entire game just.
That's Infinity Ward. All the
me.
titles are like that.
Did you ever get
Modern Warfare 3 and 2? They're just as bland.
Did you ever
but
get
for
to be
some reason
Jason
I was able
Voorhees?
to see people in it. Like I just could not see anyone in Ghost. It drove me nuts.
Yeah.
Did you ever get to be
Reason why you
Jason
could
or
see
the Predator
things
on that? Oh my God!
Reasons why you could see things on the 360 versions of those games was because of the tessellation of the games.
Oh, you're on the 360.
The more
yeah.
If you're on the 360, it was easier because the tessellation was worse, than on Xbox One, obviously. So things didn't blend into the background nearly as well.
Yeah, Xbox One was great. It ran real smooth. I would lie if I didn't say it was. I didn't enjoy it that much, but I was good at it. I could see it was clear. I wish they had been a UAV. that's what it needed. Just give me a UAV.
I played it on 360 and was just god awful.
Oh yeah. I didn't. Yeah.
I liked it on both. I played it on both 360 and Xbox One. And I liked them on both.
Yeah, but you played it. I know you did.
Yeah. Advanced Warfare was the only one I really didn't like, man.
But do you think they're going to go with Ghost, or do you think they're going to go with a different title? You're going to call it something different just to save the name because it's just.
I hope they
tarnished.
I hope they don't go with Ghost. I hope it's just another Modern Warfare. I think Modern Warfare 4 would be cool, and just not call it Ghost and just make it really cool and modern-esque, boots on the ground, like Jake said. And
smaller maps like they had at the DLC. If they had those DLC maps that come with the game and they had a UAV, Ghost would have been great. People would have loved it. I mean, 360 aside, I mean, you'd had that porting over issue. I think Ghost would have been a much more well-received game. I mean, you had those big maps like Siege, I think it was, where they should have had a Titan land in the middle of that thing. It's so big. Yeah,
it was fun though.
They didn't have game modes. If they bring back some of the old game modes like Capture the Flag and stuff too, like come on, what is this? So yeah, but we don't know what they're going to do. Nobody has any idea.
I haven't heard
anything.
I haven't read anything. No.
So, what do you guys?
Apparently they put out a tweet of the ghost symbol, so it's probably going to be Ghost 2.
Oh no!
It's very likely to be Ghost 2 at this point.
Well, what games are you guys excited for?
Yeah, what are you excited? Everybody's kind of ho hum about the big three that are sort of driving things.
I am excited for coming out in 2016.
2016. Let's not get fiscal on things.
Yeah, the game's coming out in the year 2016. Most excited for is No Man's Sky.
There you go. That's actually on my list. That's actually not coming out for Xbox. It's a PlayStation. I actually have a PlayStation.
I'm buying a PlayStation 4.
That's why I bought one for that game, specifically for that game.
What is it? You'll have to kind of give us.
You fly around a galaxy and look at dinosaurs.
Oh.
It's a little more. It's an algorithm generated galaxy with a billion stars.
You ever played Minecraft or seen somebody play Minecraft, Mud?
Yeah.
It works just like that. It's called procedural generation, but it's just on a much larger and more detailed scale than Minecraft is. These guys, they're a bunch of mathematicians, and they spent the last 6 years compiling this galaxy, procedurally generated galaxy of like millions of stars.
It's
each of these
billions.
stars have
I believe
a
it's a
planet,
billion
and,
stars.
Yeah, it's gigantic. I've been following it very closely. These guys have made these claims like everybody's in one universe, so it's like an MMO because everybody's in the same game states. But they said it would not be surprising at all if you never meet another player character your entire time playing the game.
Yeah. You're all going to the center of the galaxy, so if you get to the end, quotes, you'll run into people.
Yeah, but the closer you get in, then it's like it's another math thing. The closer you get in on a circular ring, the more likely you are to meet other people in the same ring.
But it's great is whatever planet you land on, you get to name it. You get to name everything on it, so you know those kids. If any kids play, it's going to be so
butt sex 420XX.
I mean, it's going to be so. I hope that I actually want them to leave it open because I want to see how stupid these 12-year-olds can name these stuff.
They probably will. I mean, they're not being published by a major publisher, so they have a lot of free reign on this.
Yeah, it is for those of you who do have the Xbox. I have confirmed that it is coming to Xbox, but I think it's a year. It's coming to PC the same time it's on the PlayStation, but it will come to Xbox the following year, so 2017.
For real?
I'll have to wait for that then, because I won't get a PlayStation.
No, I mean, I bought the PlayStation not just for that game, but I bought it and I have it and I play it. I mean, but yeah, that's on my list as well. I was going to surprise everybody with that one, but Jake beat me to the punch. So my game that I'm looking forward to the most is, I'm not going to even say The Division because I'm going to say Doom. I played the alpha of this game, and I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about that now. But I played the alpha, and that is old school all the way, based on my little brief experience in the alpha. I mean, your primary weapon is a rocket launcher. You can equip a rocket launcher as a primary weapon. It can't. It's just a blast. There's nothing to say. It's like Quake and old Doom meet on a console in high res graphics.
That's awesome.
Yes, one of the best primary weapons was a rocket launcher with a shotgun secondary.
That's really cool.
Nice. I saw the ID. I think was it E3 that they came out and showed the 13 minutes of Doom footage or something. And I took it to work, or showed the guys at work because there were all a bunch of nerds there too. And we were all sitting around with half chubs, like, oh my god, dude, Doom's back! This is incredible. It looked amazing though. I can't wait to play that. I forgot that was coming out this year. Good call.
Yeah, no. Well, I only knew about it because I got invited to play, and I'm like I said, assuming that was several months ago. So the beta is about to come out, so I'm assuming that we're cool to talk about it. I don't think that they're monitoring the airwaves on iTunes for me to briefly say it. All I can say is it's just good. So it's bad press. It's fun. I could seriously see getting guys to play that one. If you can convince them to buy it, you can get 6 guys in the room and just have a blast. It's just fun. It's not like Star Wars. I mean, Battlefront, where it's simple, but it's simple in the old Quake shooter way. No perks, no attachments, just blow people up.
Yeah,
I've seen some of the multiplayer gameplay footage, and it looks really like an old FPS, like the grandfather FPSs, where it looks fast. You jump high.
Yes,
it's very twitchy, and it looks great.
Yeah, you don't aim down sights. You don't do anything. You just go as quickly as you can, so you're hip firing the whole time. It is I used to play Quake, and it is a lot like Quake. So
Is there going to be a map and game editor in it? I thought I read that somewhere, but I could be wrong.
Most likely.
Probably, yeah, because there's not much to the game.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about a game that was 20 years ago. We used to play it on PC, and
right.
It's a pretty simple game by today's standards. They'd have to put something like that in there, I imagine.
Because I was reading that was going to be a big part of it is all the different crazy custom games that people are going to be able to make and share and all that kind of stuff. So
I could see that.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, that's mine. What about you other guys? What about you guys? Did y'all have any?
Oh man, I'm excited. I'm excited for a lot of games that are coming out. Gears of War. Number 4, I believe. That's coming out. I'm pumped for that. The Division looks awesome. The new Ghost Recon, where it's a totally open world, that looks fantastic too, man. whatchamacallit, the one with the
Far Cry's coming out.
Yeah, Far Cry is a good
Far Cry
one.
Primal looks good.
But you know what I'm really, really excited for is that little RC car soccer.
Oh yeah,
Rocket League.
Rocket League.
Yeah, I was going to tell you all about that. I was going to save that one for the end.
Oh,
you guys
my
keep
God.
jumping, but I think that's a blast. That's all.
For that to hit the Xbox, man. That's
Yeah.
like my big ones that I'm really looking forward to.
I'm hoping
My
it's not
number
too
one-
expensive so we can get a lot of guys to play because you just need 3 or 4 to play and it's a blast.
I bet.
My number one title, looking forward to 2016, hands down, Dark Souls 3.
Yeah,
Nice.
I had that on the list. That's
Yeah,
good.
I cannot wait. I've been looking at footage whenever they put it up. In fact, like there was like a Japanese mall had like some sort of exhibit of it today. It was all over Kotaku, and like I was drooling at work looking at these still pictures of like they had the flame and the knight's armor and all that crap out. I love the lore of the Dark Souls games.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, those are pretty hard to play, right? That's
That's kind of
Is that
I don't
a
know. I
misconception?
think that's kind of a misconception. They're difficult in that death carries a very heavy penalty, and it's kind of fairly easy to die, but it's more a game of like pattern recognition than anything else, or at least the first one was. It's kind of hard to explain. The one was called Prepare to Die Edition, had the DLC in it. And your first time through, you die a lot, and you lose your souls, and you lose like your humanity, and I mean, it kind of can put your back against the wall, but it's
No, I've seen
Not
people
a-
like conquer it with melee only or something like that. I don't know what I mean. There's Stu
Yeah,
conquer it
you
with.
got
No,
guys-
one guy played it with a Guitar Hero controller
Mm-hmm.
and conquered it. So it can be beaten.
yeah, and I mean, you're talking about guys that have beaten it hundreds of times over, and I still get on Twitch every once in a while. I watch guys kind of either speed run it or they'll do like a permadeath run. One death and they delete that character and start over.
yeah, rogueliking it.
What's that?
They're called roguelikes, games with permadeath and stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's a popular name for it is a roguelike.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I see that term pop up and I never understood what the hell it meant.
Yep.
Like, what the hell's roguelike? Are they talking about me? Like that can't be
It
right.
references a really old computer game.
Oh, okay, all right.
And when I mean old, I mean like 80s old.
Nice.
Like when consoles are basically just computers on your TV, like that
Right.
old. It was,
That's cool.
and that's what they were like. They were like really hard dungeons, really hard enemies. If you died, you're just dead. You had to start over from the beginning.
Oh God, that's all the games in the 80s.
Yeah.
I miss
Super
that
Mario.
aspect of gaming, though. To be honest with you,
I did too, man, where you really have to grind it out.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Dude, there was a college. We had Mario 3 on the Nintendo. I got my brother's old Nintendo. They got a Super Nintendo, and a guy downstairs, the apartment downstairs, and I would try to beat Mario 3 on Nintendo, and we would tag team it, and we'd go to dinner and come back, and the other guy would play, and we'd just keep going to try to get to the end because it's just eight worlds. You couldn't, and there's no shortcuts.
Yep. I spent
Yeah, there was
none
none of this, like-
hours on Mario and ay.
Yeah, tell me about it.
I don't like that every game you pick up now can like eventually be beat just by virtue of playing
Brute
it.
force.
You know what I mean? Like,
Brute force it.
yeah, I mean, I used to play games like original Ninja Gaidens on NES. I mean, if you didn't have the skill to beat Ninja Gaiden, you did not beat the game. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, that's just how it was. Or,
Right.
I miss that kind of stuff, man. I miss a challenge. It just seems like everything that comes out now is any amount of grinding. You will eventually get your achievements and see the end credits and then move on to something else. I don't know. It's
It's kind of
very
like
throwaway to me.
it's kind of like the award for participation that people get now.
Yeah, exactly.
That kids get when they're doing.
Don't get me started on that one. My kids are competing in anything. I'm going to tell them I'm always proud of you, but that doesn't mean that you deserve a trophy. Like you taking something away from the kids who tried their hardest and succeeded. Well, you just give everybody a trophy.
So will you take a participation trophy from your kid's hand and smash it on the ground to prove your point?
I wouldn't take it like smash it or anything, but I would explain to them like what the issue is with it, and hopefully they'll understand it.
Yep, that conversation's actually already been brought up in our house too. Like, I'm not about participation trophies, man. You earn it and win it, or you don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you try harder and win it next season. It's just that simple.
Except for
Mario
Mario 3,
is that you always have to
except for
tell
Mario
your kids,
3, yeah.
which you can't
I'm
ever
proud
win.
of you for trying. You know, you did your best. There's nothing wrong with that. But no, you do not deserve a trophy for trying.
Right.
Yeah, did you guys ever, back on the, sorry to get back on the games, but did you guys ever play Mirror's Edge on the 360? Did you guys ever try that one? Because in 2016, they got a new Mirror's Edge game coming out.
That's a girl's game.
Dude, it is like...
I'm just kidding.
That is like the...
I'm totally kidding, man.
That's like the twitchiest game, wall running. I mean, like, I played that game.
That's where the wall running came from, wasn't it? I believe.
Yeah.
Well,
I
that
think
and
so.
Portal.
You know, and when I played it, you know, you would always have to look for like red bars, and that's like where you would jump to. And I played it so much that in real life, man, I was walking around and I'd see like fire, you know, the fire water pipes, you know, in like a parking structure, and they were painted red, and I'm like, I could totally jump on that and swing and then jump and then flip and then run across the wall. You know? So
I used to get the same thing from playing Splinter Cell. Everywhere I went, I thought I was Sam Fisher. If I had to kill every last person in the room, this is how I would do it. And it always started with hanging from the pipes.
and shoot the lights.
You shoot the lights.
Right.
You don't kill them. You have to knock them all out with your 3 stuns and then your
I was
stealth.
Dick Sam Fisher. I killed everybody.
That's easy. That's brute force. You get a trophy for that. I'm going to give you a little trophy for participating on that. The whole point of that game is to not kill anybody.
Nah.
That was fun.
What about Deuce? Speaking of that, one other one that I had on the list is it Douse's X? Deuce? I used Deuces, but Deus Ex. Yeah,
Is it Deus or
it's Deus Ex. That's right.
like French?
Part D, yeah.
Yeah.
X.
Anyway, I used to play that on PC, and
Supposed to
that's
be
a
Deus Ex
stealth.
Machina.
Yeah.
I really liked, what was the last one? I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I played one of them
the
on the
Deus Ex
360.
games are fun. They're kind of like future-y Splinter Cell in a way. I mean, that's
Yeah,
kinda
there's
how I
some
looked
stealth
at 'em, but-
components. It's first person instead of third person, but there's some components there I liked. Same.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
a
I
hit,
had
I think
fun
there's a
with the last
Hitman
one.
coming out too, if I'm not mistaken,
Did you guys see the
which is another stealth game.
Did you guys see the Ghost Recon though? That's coming out.
I knew
Yeah,
there
it
was
looks
one,
cool.
but I haven't heard any gameplay or anything about it.
Oh my god!
It looks
It's
great.
Wastelands, I think it's called.
Yeah, Wastelands. It looks pretty awesome.
Fun. It's something I'm definitely picking up.
Yeah.
Anybody doing Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2?
When it
Not when
goes
it
on
comes
sale.
out, but as soon as it goes on sale, I will be.
Right, me too. Yeah,
I
when it
played
goes
the
on
beta
sale.
a little bit. It's a smooth game.
I played it a lot. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's
There's some class balance they got to work on, but the game's not coming out for like a year, I think.
Yeah, it's coming out late in the year, I think. So
Yeah, so it should be fine.
I've played the first one with my kids, and
It's a fun game. I play it just casually. I play original Garden Warfare. It's a lot of fun. And I only have a 500 gig hard drive so far for my Xbox One, so I gotta constantly delete games and put other games on. And it's a game that I've never deleted. It's a thing I really enjoy.
yeah, no, there's some good stuff coming out this year.
It's exciting. It's exciting, man. I mean, the stuff that are coming out, and the stuff that they come out with every year too are getting better and better. Like Forza 5 was good. Forza 6 was amazing. What's Forza 7 going to be? I mean,
Well, they're letting them all now for the next gen or for the current gen, so they don't have to backwards port them anymore. I think that helps.
Scale them down.
yeah.
That was to be expected in the first couple of years, until they say goodbye to last gen stuff and go, okay, we're just going to focus on the now.
Yeah, there's actually one game I have in my notes that I'm interested in. I'm still trying to figure out what it is, but there's a game called This War Is Mine. It's actually an iPhone game, which is theoretically more powerful than the Xbox. or as powerful to the Xbox, depending upon which phone you have. And it's supposed to be like a survival horror game, but you're in a house.
It's called This War of Mine.
Is of mine or is mine?
Yeah, it's of mine. This War of Mine.
Okay. Yeah, and it's in the house. The whole game is in the house. Mm-hmm. And it's like a zombie or some kind of apocalypse, and you're in the house, and it's all sort of a strategy RPG type game, and it's coming to the Xbox. So they're porting a game from the iPhone to Xbox now.
Cool.
So they first ported it to PlayStation 4.
Is it going to PlayStation first?
It went to PlayStation 4 first, I believe.
Maybe, yeah, you're right. It may be on there already. If it did, it's already, because the Xbox, I think it's coming out next month, or this month. Mm-hmm. I guess it's February, so it's this month. Yeah. But that's another one that people should look out for, these iPhone games that are actually moving over to the consoles because the iPhone is so powerful. The iPads and iPhones now,
Yeah, they have really good processors. What's it called? I forget. It's this game that was developed with the Unreal Engine, and it's an iPhone game. It's like you're under the night and fight monsters and stuff. It's all about swiping at the right time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I forget what it's called, but it's
Fruit Ninja.
It's not Fruit Ninja, but it's really good and it looks fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to have a podcast later this year on all the apps and stuff that are out there and what games are the gaming thing. So,
is anybody here going to be picking up a VR headset this year when they start becoming available?
No,
that's a big negative.
I get nauseous in car rides in the back seat. There's no way I'm strapping that to my head.
You know what would be cool is if this podcast got so popular that developers started sending us that stuff so we could review it.
And saying that on the podcast is a sure way to not have it.
Yes. Probably.
So now that even if we do become popular, they're going to go, nope, these guys better not.
Well, I'm going to knock on some wood right now. So
we can edit
so
that
yeah,
out,
so we're
right?
going to talk about that too. That we're going to talk about we talked a little bit about the Oculus when we talked about the free to play games, but we have another podcast coming up this year. Yeah, that's another thing on my notes here is to talk about some of the stuff coming up this year. We do want to have a Fallout 4. We've got to come back. We haven't talked about that yet. We got to come back to that one. We're going to do one on some of the what I call gimmick gamings this year, which are like the Infinity, Rockstar, Guitar Hero, the Oculus Rift, all that stuff. Then apps.
The novelty games.
Yeah, sort of the novelty. The kids. I have an Infinity. I've got it. My stepdaughter plays it. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
So that kind of stuff. So that's what we've got coming up in the year. You guys have any other final thoughts on 2015 or 2016?
No, it's going to be an exciting year. I'm excited to see what happens with Pork Chop Platoon, where because over 2014, 2015, we've really expanded as a community, and I'm excited to see where we go with this. As a clan and as a community. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, same here, man. I didn't, nothing super cool to add other than just, again, thanks for having me on, and it's cool to be a part of a robust gaming group that we're in. I think we're all kind of in a fortunate space there, so it's nice to see it grow and flourish like it has.
Yeah, man. I agree. I think it's pretty cool. We got a lot of new members, a lot of people coming in, and it's been pretty exciting.
I basically have been playing with the clan for about a month or two because of the kid. I originally stopped playing Destiny back in October and November because I just couldn't, do like 3-4 hour raids when my wife was heavily pregnant, and I was doing Black Ops 3, and then I even stopped playing that around December because I couldn't commit the time. And it just says a lot about how much this clan has grown that I haven't been on for like 6 weeks, and there's like all these new people I'm meeting where I'm like, who is this? And they're like, oh, he's a clan member. I'm like, really?
Yep.
And for their fact, they're like, who's this Jake guy? I'm like, oh, he's been around for a while. He's a member of the clan.
There's a lot of guys that have been around for a while coming back too with the Black Ops. So
yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, every day I try to look at a new place, see where my kids stash that game. Because I want to play it, but it's I just can't. If I had a disc with me, I probably wouldn't be playing Destiny as much even now.
Well, I just want to make a note that Jake said heavy pregnant when he was talking about his wife. So
Heavily pregnant.
I know.
I noticed
said
that too.
heavily pregnant, and I'm sorry,
That's pretty
but,
funny,
you know,
though.
it put a little more junk in her trunk, which I'm more than happy with.
60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
well, anyways, guys, we really thank you guys for coming on, Jake and Rogue Ninja. I mean, Rogue Ninja, this is your second time, and Jake, your cherry was popped, and you were great
Coming
on
on,
the podcast.
getting invited onto this podcast for me really confirmed something for you, which is that I have fooled all of you into thinking I know what I'm talking about with video games.
No, we just got you
more
because
than
you're
happy.
loud and opinionated.
Yeah.
I thought that's why you had mud.
No, I'm the comic relief. That's all I'm here for.
Definitely are funny. Funny looking.
Yeah, and smelling. So, but anyways,
I wouldn't know about that. But yeah, I had a lot of fun talking. Feel free to invite me on whenever you feel like you want to hear my particular brand of opinion.
nice.
More than happy to come on. You're on my podcast subscription list, like 2 other podcasts out there.
That's
So,
awesome. That's awesome.
You're
Thanks for
in my regular rotation. I'm a huge fan. I like listening to my friends talk about stuff. Apparently.
so thank you so much again, guys. I think that's it for us, folks. Again, thanks for listening. I'm your host, Mud,
I'm Neon Physics.
and this has been a Pork Chop Platoon podcast. Over and out.